Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, 15 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my special guest, Dalila Ramos, with Planet Home Lending, where she currently works as the
Business Development Manager.
But crazy story, I originally met Dalila, who, by the way, every time I hear her name, I want to go back to like middle school, Sunday nights, driving home from Granny's house and listening to Dalila.
Oh.
But no, originally met Dalila Ramos when she was recruiting for the mortgage industry.
Yes.
And I was one of the individuals that she was reaching out to. We developed a relationship and then years later reconnected when you were the membership coordinator for NAMBA.
Yes.
Which is the
National Association of Minority Mortgage Brokers of America.
Mortgage bankers.
Mortgage
Mortgage
Lord.
bankers of America.
My bad. Sorry.
But you've now been with Planet for the past year.
Yep, over a year.
And you were on one of my social posts last week or 2 weeks ago, hopefully because you're checking out the Loan Officer Podcast,
Yes.
you're following what we're doing, and you're like, hey, you should do something on personal branding.
Yep.
And I said, no, you should do something on personal branding, and we'll bring you in to be our guest. So we're going to spend the next 20-some minutes
Yeah.
discussing personal branding.
Yep.
As it pertains to your expertise, especially with what you do for a living with Planet Home.
Okay.
Probably what you did in order to help create and make NAMBA what it is today. Because I know you're still heavily involved in NAMBA,
Yes.
and it has a special place in your heart.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure as a recruiter all those years, you probably had to also brand yourself.
Absolutely.
So you're doing something really cool, and I've seen you on LinkedIn and Facebook, usually on Tuesdays. And it's Taco Tuesday with Dalila.
Taco Tuesday Talks with Dalila.
Okay, so this is your way to personally brand yourself,
Yes.
and then the causes that you champion.
Correct.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Okay.
Like how to get started, what's the purpose behind it, and more importantly, how could listeners emulate what you're doing in order to put themselves in a situation where they're achieving their goals and finding greater success?
Okay. So Taco Tuesday Talks has been around for a little under a year.
Okay.
And it started because my best friend in Chicago, his name is Sean Cochran. He is a realtor with EXP.
Okay, shout out to Sean.
Shout out to Sean. His branding, he is the singing cowboy. He's this black man with freckles, and he's around the Chicagoland area with a cowboy hat, like a Dodge Ram truck, and everybody knows him. And so,
Is he a good singer?
I mean, and he's pretty decent.
Okay.
Like, too, he just like spit out, and I think I shared it on my Facebook. I think he did a parody of "What's Poppin'" song that's like happening right now, and he did such a great job. So I remember last year I was like, man, Sean, I really want to just brand myself and put myself out there, and thank God I did it. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
And he's like, well, he's like, what are you passionate about? What do you love? And then incorporate that with mortgage. And so, well, my faith is my driver. But I was
going to say, you probably love Jesus and tacos, but...
there you go. But I was like, okay, well, my faith. And he's like, yeah, but what else? And I'm like, well, I love tacos. And he's like, and then, so we ended the conversation, and then I did something, and I called him. I said, Taco Tuesday Talks with Dalila. And I'm like, I want to eat tacos and talk about, like, mortgage stuff.
By the way,
like, "That's
any
it."
particular tacos? Like street tacos, fish tacos, or like you just love tacos?
I mean, look, I'm originally from Chicago, and when I say I'm from Chicago, I'm born and raised in the city, the hood. None of this, like, Naperville, or people like, I'm from Chicago, and they'll be from Plainfield. Get the heck out of here with your Plainfield South.
Yeah, like you're not talking the Lake District. You're not talking all the way down in Mokina and in the Frankfurt or Joliet. Like, you are Chicago proper.
Yes. Like
Cubs or Sox?
blue and red, baby,
Go
all day.
Cubs, go. Nice. All
yeah.
right.
I don't wear eyeliner like that to be a White Sox fan.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about that.
No, I love it. I love it. My in-laws are from Chicago.
I know.
And it's my mother-in-law's Sox, my father-in-law's Cubs. In our house, if it's not the Braves, then it's the Cubs. And some of that also is growing up in Florida. WGN
Yes.
was on the airways, and WGN always aired the Cubs games. So if the Braves weren't on TBS, then we watched the Cubs on WGN. And the Cubs were never good back then, so it was easy to go ahead and cheer for them. Now, since they've become good, it makes it even more fun to cheer for them.
Yes.
As long as they're not playing my Braves.
Oh,
if they're playing the Braves, then I'm like, oh, sorry, Cubs. Other than that, it's go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs,
All right,
go.
so we little rabbit hole there.
Yeah.
No, so you came up with this idea. You're sharing
Yep.
it with Sean, and take us through that thought process.
And so he said, he was like, I love it. Run with it. And I just whipped out my iPhone and just did it. It wasn't anything fancy, like nothing that's here. Wasn't special equipment, a special camera, none of that. Whipped up my iPhone, did like a 2-3 minute video, posted it on LinkedIn, and it took off.
Which, by the way, that is the advice we give to anyone about anything. Like, I don't care if it's quit smoking. I don't care if it's take your business to the next level, become a better son or husband or daughter. Just do it. So you decided, don't need a fancy camera. You don't
Nope.
need fancy microphones. Don't even need to know what you're going to do, but you're going to do it. And then from there, you'll figure it out and probably get better at it.
Exactly.
Okay. What was your first talk about?
Oh my God, I don't even remember. It was like, I think last year. And I really don't remember. Maybe it might have been like something on NAMBA.
Even better. Guess what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter. The fact that you did it, and I'm assuming you then stuck to it.
Yes.
How did it take off? So you put it on just LinkedIn or LinkedIn and Facebook?
No, I put it just on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And it
Did you tag anybody? Did you hashtag it?
Oh my goodness. I might have tagged a few people.
Okay. Yeah.
And from there, people started to comment. And so I was like, let me do it again every Tuesday. And so the number one thing I tell people is when they dive in and they get started, consistency. You have to remain consistent and provide valuable content. That's one of the things is I want to be consistent with it, and I want to provide something valuable. And there has been so many folks that have reached out and said, listen, I needed to hear that at the right moment. Can you point me into the right direction? Thank you for having the courage to speak out. Because some of the topics are personal and like real.
Things that people don't typically share or talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just saw this on actually LinkedIn, but Gary Vee posted something about if you make it about them, they'll listen. If you make it about you, they won't. So I'm assuming your content's probably a lot about them, your audience.
Them and the experiences, whether it be through us, like just it could be something personal. It could be an experience that majority, like 90% of my tribe is mortgage real estate industry.
Yeah.
So
because you've been doing it for how long now? 20 years?
It'll be 20 years next year.
Wow.
And I'm only going to be 41.
Yeah, so that's basically all you know. All you know is maybe some club scenes back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But from a professional standpoint, all you know is the mortgage industry.
That's all I know.
And you decided to brand yourself for the sheer purpose of, and this is going to be a question I have, like, were you trying to promote NAMBA? Were you trying to promote Plan at Home? Were you trying to recruit loan officers? Or were you just trying to draw a bigger following to you, the professional, in hopes that the more contacts and connections you can make, the greater opportunities you'll have throughout your career, which will probably lead to benefiting your employer, benefiting the professional organizations that you champion? What was your goal, or what's your goal today? It might not have been your goal when you started, but your goal today may very well be what with the personal branding?
So one of the things, it started off, the main goal was because there was really no one out there that looked like me.
Okay.
Right? The people that were doing videos, well, they had professional lighting and camera and all that, but they didn't, I felt like I couldn't relate to them.
I thought you were going to say old and white.
No.
Because that's what it's like going to any mortgage bankers conference. Like, you look around, you're like, oh, look, there's an old white dude, another old white dude. And, oh, that guy's, he's kind of old, but not really old, but still white and dude.
But it's still relevant to this day, right? So that was number one. And number two, to brand myself, but in the industry, to make a name and a reputation. Like, I already had something locally, hence, I already had something
our
locally.
Connection, yes.
But I
because
wanted
you two
to,
are in Central Florida. We talk about Chicago, but your home now is Central Florida.
right here in Orlando, just like half an hour from your office here. And of course, NAMBA gave me a platform and an audience, right?
Yes.
Working with Tony, and traveling and
Shout
doing those
out to
conferences.
Tony Thompson.
Shout out to Namba and Tony Thompson. And so, but I wanted just to separate myself a little bit because I was no longer going to be, working with Namba at that level. So that's where that kind of came, and it really has taken off. And I also wanted to represent a certain, number one, women of color.
Yep.
I don't have a fancy degree, Dustin. I come from truthfully, I come from projects of Chicago. I know what government cheese tastes like. I grew up on food stamps. I wanted to give someone who came from that environment and let them know, hey, number one, our industry's here. It's not going nowhere. There are a lot of paths and avenues you can come in and make a difference, or you can be a homeowner, because no one ever taught me that. Living in the projects of Chicago, being raised there.
There we go. Now we're touching on one of my themes of everything you should have learned in high school, but you didn't. Not that you weren't going to listen.
Yeah.
They weren't teaching it to you. Mm-mm. Yeah. So you chose personal branding from a very altruistic standpoint, where it's all about putting others first. It's all about inspiring others, giving others a voice or a face that is more, I say recognizable, but something that that when they look at you and they hear you, whether it's your age, your sex, your race, they're like, yeah, that's me. Yep. And if that person can think a certain way and experience certain things, I can too. That's
Absolutely.
Really cool. That is really cool. It is. So for you, it is about putting others first.
I do. I have a servant's heart, and I want to help, anyone, but especially women. I'm a single mom. I'm raising 2 boys, and I have 2 properties. God willing, by myself. One in Chicago. I own my house here in Orlando.
That's
and
awesome.
The whole thing. And I'm looking for property number 3.
Yes.
And
I happen to know a bunch of really good loan officers. And,
do you?
Oh, yeah, and dozens of really good realtors. Just in case you don't know any yourself, I could probably hook you up. But
I've been debating whether to buy it back home in Chicago or Florida. And we'll see. That is on my radar for the end of 2020 and 2021. But the whole point is, if I can do it, you can do it.
So tacos on Tuesday with Dalila.
Taco Tuesday talks with Dalila.
Taco Tuesday talks.
Yep, with Dalila.
I almost said tree squared, T squared. No,
okay.
T cubed. T cubed with Dalila.
T cubed with Dalila.
Kind of like T-Pain was T cubed. T cubed with Dalila. T cubed stands for Tuesday. No, Taco Tuesday talks. It's so funny.
On.
Well, JC Coleman and I have actually talked about if we ever had to rebrand the Loan Officer podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, how about we call it the LO Show? EL-OH, the LO Show.
LO.
Yeah, just because the LO Show, spelled that way, does a better job of representing what we're about. Because although this is a show that was produced by a loan officer.
Okay.
And a lot of our initial conversations and thoughts were to help loan officers. When you listen to the past 45 going on 50 episodes, very rarely are we talking to loan officers. We're talking in the voice of a loan officer, and we're talking to people who do a loan officer type work. But what we've realized is probably more than 50% of people can follow the same principles we teach loan officers to conduct successful businesses.
Absolutely.
Can be taught to the masses.
Yes.
So although it's called the Loan Officer Show, it may be a little bit deceiving if people think, oh, well, I'm not a loan officer, I shouldn't tune in. You're like, no, are you a human? If you're a human, you should tune in.
Absolutely.
If you like to learn about personal finance, if you like to learn about how to better run a business, whether your business is your household, which could be a business, or your business is actually generating revenue for corporations, this show is for you.
Absolutely.
So maybe because it's too much of a tongue twister for me to try to say.
What was it? LO what?
What? No, Taco
Tuesday talks. Taco Tuesday talks.
Taco Tuesday talks, but I just called it T cubed.
T cubed.
T cubed with Dalila.
T cubed. I'm gonna have to mental note that.
Yes. No, but let's spend 5 minutes thinking about. So you did this.
Yes.
For you. You did this because it makes your heart warm. You did this because you're an altruistic person who's putting others before yourself, and you're trying to make a difference.
Yes.
Others can take your same methods and apply it to something very similar. Maybe they share your same altruism. I find, unfortunately, not many people do. Like, air high five to you for that. I think it's amazing. But I'm assuming that someone could use this same type of branding if they were a loan officer.
Yes.
To better connect with potential clients that would want to use their services. If they were a realtor, if they sold life insurance, if they had their own family practice, whether it was law or medicine. Like, there's so many different businesses that people could utilize. If I'm selling Mary Kay, or if I'm, which by the way, I think I mentioned a couple times on the podcast, not a big fan of the multi-tiered level marketing. Yep. But if you were Roden and Fields, you could follow in Dalila's footsteps.
Yes.
And maybe help increase your business, increase your revenue, increase the amount of money you make. Because by the way, if you increase the amount of money you make, you can also increase the amount of money you save. Correct. You can increase the amount of money you tithe.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing wrong with putting a focus on increasing your personal income, especially if that increase in personal income comes with benefiting other people.
Yes.
So deep dive into it.
Okay.
You first did it.
Yep.
What are some tips and tricks that you have found? Like, is it always consistently the same time, the same day? Obviously Tuesdays, I'm assuming.
Every Tuesday. Yes. Every Tuesday I try to, and there has been folks that will tell me, well, why don't you just record them, like a bunch of them, and then just spit them out?
Why don't you?
Because it's not real.
Perfect.
It's not real. I want to go pick up, you have no idea, sometimes I scramble to go find a taco location. Sometimes I'll Google it the night before. Okay, what taco do I want? The taco place I want to hit. Do I want to hit a place that I normally go to? Or do I want to go try a new spot?
You ever do Taco John?
What do you mean Taco John?
Yeah, all through the Midwest or out West, there's Taco Johns. Imagine like a Taco Bell, but they sell really good tater tots.
What? No.
Yeah, it's a fast food chain called Taco John.
Taco John? No, I've never heard of that. Of course, Taco Bell and Del Taco, and then
El Pollo Tropical.
No, see, that's the thing. Like, I guess that's my rule. When I have guests on my Taco Tuesday talks, now you got me tripping here. On my Taco Tuesday talks,
T-Cube,
they have to be tacos. It could be even a homemade taco. I think one guest, Ashley Gravano, she had a Dorito Loco taco, and I was like, girl, why? Like, I gotta hold on to La Latina card. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are my people gonna think? And so I just want the whole taco thing. And so I really do. Like, tacos are my favorite.
And so it is on Tuesday. You do not pre-record them.
No.
Because to you want to keep it as authentic.
Yes.
And then do you have a certain theme that you try to circle around, or each week brings its own theme?
It could be a guest. It could be a theme, something that is a headliner, like happening. I haven't really touched on, I never do anything political.
Okay.
Ever, nothing like that. It's all pretty much mortgage related somehow, some way.
So something to do with buying homes, selling homes.
It could be, it could, like last week's was marketing and how important that is right now moving forward.
Okay.
And so it could be things that other originators, because I talk to a lot of them periodically throughout the week, and they'll touch on a topic and all of a sudden I'll write it down and I'll be like, that's perfect. It could be diversity, which is really big right now. Anything, but somehow it correlates to our industry.
So if I'm a listener of this show and I want to tune in, do I just find you on LinkedIn? Okay.
Dalila Ramos, LinkedIn, Facebook, both platforms are open. Those are the only two right now I'm managing. I do have a YouTube channel that I have my youngest son. He started it for me. He's like, Mom, I want you to, I think you're good. You're doing good. Yeah. You should have a YouTube channel. So it is on YouTube. Taco Tuesday Talks, and he monitors it for me, my youngest son.
And you keep your minute. That's fantastic, by the way. Now my daughter's going to listen to this and be jealous that I haven't roped her in yet. Although Coleman keeps on saying that. I keep on referencing Coleman, by the way. He's here. John, say hi to everyone.
Hey, everyone.
All right. But I told Kendall, my daughter, I said, I'm going to put you in the chair one day, and maybe like for the 100th episode.
You should.
And just interview her, like, what is it like growing up with this crazy guy in your house?
Do it, Dustin. You know why? One of my guests was I have two boys.
Mm-hmm. How old?
So 20. They'll be 20 and 14, God willing, on Monday.
God willing, if he makes it.
Yeah, they're both born on the same day. It's crazy. So,
I won't even
but
go
6
there.
years apart.
I won't even go there.
Don't go there, bro.
I'm gonna take nine months and a week
Thanksgiving,
back.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. Thanksgiving is Delila's favorite holiday of the year.
Oh my God. Yes, they're both born on the same day, 6 days apart. But I have looped them in. So my youngest one, Mateo, he handles my YouTube channel. And my oldest one attends the University of Tampa. And I put him on as a guest. So do it with Kendall.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he got a job because of the video.
That's awesome. Do you know what school John Coleman went to?
What,
University of Tampa. University of Tampa. How about that?
He's a junior. Yeah. So it's a great college, and the mortgage industry provides me the capability to pay for that as a single mom.
That's awesome.
Cash.
That is fantastic. That is really awesome.
I'm telling you, our industry rocks, and we need more people. We need more people. Yeah.
I am pro that. This has been, for me, one of the best careers I could have stumbled into. And I say stumbled into because no one that I know in this industry, and I know hundreds, went to school to become a mortgage banker.
No, we never did.
They didn't go to school to become a processor or an underwriter or a loan originator or a closer or a shipper or a funder or QC or I mean, think of all the jobs, secondary and even marketing and
there's everything,
podcasting.
IT, like there's so many avenues and paths to our industry, realtor, like everything. And these college students don't know about our industry. They're finding out now because there's no jobs, or it's becoming harder with the current environment.
Or they tuned into T Cubed, and which So do you try to keep yours like 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 20 minutes? Like, is there a certain time limit? Because I know with you on Facebook, and is it Facebook Live or are they recorded?
No, they're recorded.
They're recorded.
But like within minutes. I never go live.
Yeah.
And I sometimes things happen, and I only do one video. If I do another one, it's because something like really major happened. But sometimes it's in my car. Sometimes it's in my house. If it's just me, I try to keep it under 3 minutes. If it's a guest, I try to do like 7-8 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes over.
And the topics are basically topics of the day, or maybe something that you jotted down earlier in the week because it popped in your head or someone else asked you, which, by the way, that's what Coleman and I do. Like, there's so many shows that we do, and we tend to try to, today's a Thursday, by the way, and we tend to try to record on Thursdays.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that the show didn't start on Tuesday when he came in my office or someone else did. And if it's someone else, because John sits so close, he'll come running in. I always joke, kind of like Kramer from Seinfeld, and he's like, hey, whoa. He's like taking notes. He's like, this would be a great show. And we tend to come back to it because our ultimate goal in this show is to inspire, entertain, educate, and motivate. If we can do 4 out of the 4, we hit a home run.
Yes.
If we could do 3 of the 4, heck, if we can do 1 of the 4, we feel like we still didn't waste someone's time. So you mentioned your 2 boys.
My 2 boys, yeah.
You mentioned your background.
Yes.
And one of the themes or the mantras of this particular show is we like to talk about everything you should have learned in high school but didn't.
Okay.
Or, even things that as a 41-year-old badass boss babe, single mom with two homes purchased, paying for your son to go to University of Tampa, which, by the way, is a private school.
Private.
University of Tampa without utilizing student loans.
No debt.
Okay. If you could grab the 17-year-old version of you, or you have a 20-year-old now, so your son, what are some things either you wish were taught to you when it comes to things like personal finance or being successful in life, or what are some things that because they weren't taught to you, you make sure that your boys are taught?
Financial literacy. That's a huge one. We're not taught that.
And when you say financial literacy, what are you teaching your boys about financial literacy right now?
Making sure they utilize credit, that they know credit, that they know about the trade lines, right? Things like TransUnion, Equifax. Making sure that they know how to save. Making sure.
Is there a certain formula that you tell them about saving?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I'm still old school. I still save money, cash. There's where my brown self, mattress money or whatever. Like, however you want to call it, right? I just always tell them, hey, you never know. You need always sometimes to keep X amount because you just never know.
You told it like X amount in reserve,
like
just
no,
for a rainy
like cash.
day.
Just cash. You never know
Go
when
money.
you make
You need some go money.
Go money.
Yeah,
exactly. And so,
or heck, in today's day and age, I'm thinking, do I need some Go Gold?
yeah, right. But there's certain things that I try to make sure that they know that, and it's hard because both my kids are, my oldest one still, he remembers living. My grandmother lives in the same housing projects to this day. Okay, and so he, being almost 20, remembers growing up with that. My youngest one, it doesn't. All he knows is gated community here for the most part in Orlando. I need them to understand, value, or like a privilege to open up a fridge, like simple things, that it is a privilege to have, air conditioning.
Wow.
Like stuff like that. Because when we went home, I think it was last summer, Mateo didn't want to stay because he was like, Mom, all our AC in my mom's house was in one room. And so versus we have, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, central, AC. He's like, I don't want to stay in the bedroom. And it just, and they only have one bathroom. I'm like, Mateo.
So it's understanding
that it's important to understand, number one, to save, about credit. I teach them also, look, my little one may not be college bound, but to talk to them about other trades, other things that they can do. Because right now people are giving them the idea about like that they can come out of college making like $80,000 a year. That's BS. You know that. I need them to understand their work ethic. They need to go work at a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A or something like that. They need to scrub toilets. I don't care how big the plans God has for me. You're going to learn, and you're going to have some humbleness attached. Yeah. I can't have that, man.
That's fantastic. How about this one? How about, so that was to your boys.
To my boys.
But to you, the 21-year-old Latina that is going to make it in a finance world. Like what are you telling? If you could grab yourself 21 years ago and give a couple words of encouragement or words of advice, what would you share with yourself?
Buy property.
Buy property.
Buy property. Buy property. I bought my first condo in 25 years old.
Okay.
And I wish I would have bought more.
Okay. Perfect.
Buy property. Because home ownership is how I'm going to pass generational wealth to my children.
That is, it's so simple, yet so powerful. Like I was ready for like something that was, I don't know, and not because that is poetic. The simple, just factual, buy property. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, because of generational wealth. This is how you are going to leave a financial legacy to your heirs. Correct. Is by purchasing property.
Yep.
That is awesome. Dalila, thank you so much for your time. If people want to get a hold of you, if they want to follow you, how do they do so?
So it's Dalila Ramos, Dalila. I think even if you Google me, I've become the first Dalila Ramos that pops up. So I'm moving on up.
And Ramos is a pretty common last name, so it is awesome.
So on LinkedIn, it's Dalila Ramos. Facebook, it's Dalila Ramos. Those are my two platforms. My YouTube channel is Taco Tuesday Talks with Dalila. It's nothing, and nothing crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find me anywhere.
Dalila was brought to you all by the Loan Officer Podcast, which can be found on YouTube, the Loan Officer Podcast, on Instagram, on Facebook, the Loan Officer Podcast. My name is Dustin Owen. Her name is Dalila Ramos. You have tuned into the Loan Officer Podcast. Thank you very much. This is all we have for you for this episode. We look forward to catching you on future episodes. Peace.
Adios.